Alright, right guys and girls, and welcome back to another Eastenders video episode review, and sort of assessing the episode as I'm watching it, and then just like giving my personal opinion on it, or hear from you guys and girls out there who watches the shows yourself. So this is for Eastenders episode 1st of February, which was Thursday of last week, 1st of February 2018. Today it is the 6th today. 6th, it's Tuesday the 6th of February 2018. So it's been a few days. Got at least 2 more episodes after this episode to be up to scratch with it. So hopefully I can get these done for today. It is 10:07 in the morning. So let's just assess these. So when we look at this, we know that Mick Carter got put into the back of the truck and he was trying to fight the guys off and all of that. That's actually, if I close this one down, close this a second, and it was because Aidan was actually thinking it was him who took the money due to the heist, and stole it. And there we go, there's Mick Carter. So basically they've been watching him like a hawk. Anyway, he came into some sort of fortune lately, and he's just basically, Aidan's thinking, well, he's the guy who's stolen the money. Basically, he hasn't come into a fortune. He's found the ring, a ring which is worth 200k. He thought it was only around about 20,000 or something. Anyway, Aidan found out that he was actually lying, because he was been stating to Aidan that he found a sort of like war medals that his, I think it was like great uncle or granddad or something found. And then he started changing the story a little bit, and Aidan thought, oh, a bit different here. Anyway, Mel found out he was actually lying. She told Aidan about it, and then they actually stumped him into the back of the truck. And now in the new episode, so if we get rid of the episode here, so put that there, we don't need that now. Actually, if I put, because I'm actually using the OBS 21.0.1 64-bit Windows. I've got these images from Google, because I've been looking on Google. There's my thing there. So I've been using Google for it. Or is it? Is that the one? Oh no, that's my display thing. That's what I'm using at the moment. So my display capture, that's what I'm actually capturing on my thing. That's why you can see that. That's my OBS. So if I what's this? Oh no, that's my background. Actually, I could keep that in the background for now. So if I keep that there, and I shorten that down. Anyway, you got to put in the back of the truck. Yeah, sorry for the bad images on here. I'm just trying to sort the thing out. I'll just leave that as it is anyway. Should be alright. And there we go. There's Linda. She saw her husband getting dragged into the back by some guys who basically are working for Aidan, Phil Mitchell, and all these other people in there as well, and Vincent Hubbard, who's supposed to be selling the Albert because he wants to get away. But they're wondering why is he getting away for? What's his little game? Why is he actually running away? Anyway, so getting into the episode for the 1st of February, what should I say? Yeah, 1st of February. So the episode starts on, and it actually starts with Linda looking at the window, seeing her husband getting dragged, and they basically put a sheet over his head just to try and then putting him in the back. So he's trying to struggle and all that to try and get away. He was actually having a little fight in the last episode to try and fight him off, but he couldn't get the strength to, because they overpowered him and they just put him in the back of the truck. Well, actually, it's a van. It's a Trans Am van or something, or transport. Now Linda's just been watched by Mel, and she looks a bit confused, though, Mel, at the moment. And then we've got like, oh, Mr. Masood turned up now. He's in the paper shop and all that, where they sold the magazines and paper and all that. And he feels like one of those sort of dealers, the ones that are doing it secret to Robbie and all that. He's got his like little food that he's been cooking up and stuff, and like so he can give to Robbie. But he feels the way he's doing it, it's like he's actually doing a sneaky thing, like so he don't get caught and stuff. But he feels like he's got it in the thing so no one actually sees what he's doing. So he feels like one of those sort of dealers, the ones that are selling stuff, but doesn't want to get caught. So he's giving them to Robbie at the moment. And he goes to, Robbie goes to Mr. Masood. Oh, you put it into a shift and all that to actually make these barges that you want. He says he's been waiting all morning for it. And he's like clapping his hands like, oh yes. He's getting all excited. Oh, now he's having to take a little bite out of it. Getting his little fix. Oh, and he said, because basically he took one of these barges in a previous episode and he thought it was fantastic. Now he's made these batches of barges and he's finding out now that they don't taste like the previous episode ones, so they're wondering what the hell's going on. He said it's the same. He said he's been using the same recipe. And he said, oh, so these are not yours then, these recipes then. He said the last lot, he said, tasted like what his ex made, though, Robbie says, the last time. He said they've got no love in it, the ones that Mr. Masood's been making. And he said if they haven't got love in them, he said, then what have they got? Now he wants Mr. Masood to try again now. Now he's got to try and take a step back a little bit and find out what he's missing, what the secret recipe is missing. Oh, now we've got back to Linda now. Is shouting and screaming at Sharon's apartment or house. Calling out for Sharon. Saying about Mick being kidnapped and all that is about Mick. Oh, and there's a little cutscene now. Do you know what? I love the cutscenes on this. Like, they go straight from one transition for like 10-15 seconds and then they go straight into another bit of the part of the Eastenders bits. I like that. Now it's in the garage in Mitchell's Autos, and oh, Mick Carter's just sitting there tied up. They've just taken off the like sort of bag over his head, which they literally put in there. Now Phil's just standing there, and they've got one of those sort of like interrogation lights there. He's got all the lights there, putting it straight into Mick's eyes and all that. Well, technically a little bit back, so they're trying to do an interrogating him and all that. And now he's replying to Phil. Now he's saying, "What's all this? Why have they kidnapped him?" Basically, and we've got Vince. We have little Billy Mitchell. I bet he's probably nicked the money. That little weasel and stuff's probably nicked the money. What was it? What's Phil said? Oh, and then we've got that Keanu there as well, and we've got Aidan. But we haven't got Aidan shown up yet. He's supposed to be the honorary guest, as they say, because he's the guy behind the heist. Or the man behind the heist who set it up, the whole team and stuff. But I think, to be honest, I think they're going to set... I think Aidan's maybe could have stolen the money. He's trying to set them all up. Maybe he's got a beef with all of them. And then we've got Denise and her sister. Kim in the cafe, in Kath's cafe, saying about her cups and all that, saying her baby likes her cups and all that. And she said, Denise says to her sister, "Oh, you better get yourself a fresh cup then." And then she's looking a bit confused by it. I think it's because she wants to tell Denise all about it, but about her situation. About she wants a DNA test, but now Kim's telling Kush to get to the house, and she wants him to get there now. Now we've got Linda being a bit outraged and stuff, saying about her husband Mick being kidnapped, saying being put in the back of the van. And then we've got Sharon trying to calm her down, saying it's alright, it's fine, and saying that Phil won't be behind it. And then Linda says, she knows who it is, and Sharon knows who it is, and all that. And he's saying that Phil is the only person that Aidan would know about this maniac and stuff. Saying that Aidan's a maniac. Saying he's about asking Johnny and all that. Because in the previous episode, or couple episodes back, we had Johnny leave, because he was supposed to be going off, leaving Wolford completely, to do with his new career he's supposed to be starting up. And his mum was comforting him and giving him encouragement and all that to leave and that. Now Linda wants Sharon to do something now, otherwise she's going to go to the police about it. And wants her to film Phil up about it. And now it's back to Kim now and Kush, and basically Kim wants Kush to do a favour for her and all that, but he goes, have I said something wrong? Is it some sort of dirty word or something? He's wondering what the hell's going on. Apparently she wants, because Denise is supposed to be her birthday or something, so Kim, for her birthday, wants to get the DNA kit done for her so they can find out they're sisters. He wants to prove that they're sisters. And she said, what happens if they're not? Well, that'd be a nice birthday present for her, wouldn't it? For Denise, finding out they're not sisters. And they say if they're not related, Kush says. And so like a razor, not disposable. Or disposable. Kim wants Kush to get her a sample for the DNA test. Like a swab. So basically wants her, Denise, to go to sleep so he can stub a swab in her mouth and then use it so he can get the DNA out of her and then send it through to the test. Oh god, little adverts for 20 seconds. They got an advert about total shoulder replacement, apparently. Circle Bath Hospital. My god. Trying to fix shoulders, apparently. That's for an advert. My god, what next? Right. Here we go, back to Eastenders. Right, so back to Mr. Masood now. So basically, him and Robbie, he's just made another batch of barges for Robbie to test that, and he says, how do they smell? And he goes, they smell lovely. But how do they taste? Oh, now he's having another taste now. Oh. Oh, now he's feeling a bit disgusted. He feels horrible. Like the horrible or something, like he's got a bad taste. And he said he's basically followed his auntie's recipe. And he said they taste exactly the same. Oh, now they're trying to hide everything now because his auntie's coming back now. And he wants, Robbie wants Mr. Masood to find out from his auntie how she does these barges as well. On the his uncle there as well. He's turned up, auntie and uncle. And the auntie's saying to, I think that's her husband, wants to know why he's made a foolish mistake. And then she goes, men. I think it's they're doing something to do with their child care thing, where they're supposed to be looking after children. It's back to Mick Carter now. So Mick Carter is in the Mitchell's Autos area, where the garage thing. So they're basically sitting there, he's tied up, and they're waiting for Aidan to turn up. And then he's going, how long have I got to sit here for? Oh, here we go. Is Aidan turned up now? And Mick's looking at the door and looking at Aidan. I know Aidan's smoking his, I believe it's a cigar he's smoking. And then it's back to Linda now. She's saying, oh, she can't take any more of this, and now she's going to go to the police. Oh, Sharon's trying to basically calm her down to make sure she don't make a mistake. And said, oh, Mick Carter hasn't got Aidan's money. Basically, we already know that Sharon is the one that took the actual money. But she's trying to make it out like it is Mick Carter. So it's pretty cool, just like doing a sort of like blaming someone else for it. To try and get out of it. Oh, and now she's trying to confront her now, saying, where did all that money come from to pay off for the Vic? She's saying to Linda. She said that money's got to come from somewhere. And she said, what else you got lined up in that Queen Vic and all that? And then she said if she tells the police, then the police will start digging into it, wondering how she bought the pub. And then they say about the windfall that she's come up to win all this money. They say Mick's a big boy, oh, Sharon says. And she's saying if Mick's got nothing to hide, then he'd be alright. Then we've got Mr. Masood doing all the cooking. Oh shit. Alright, hang on. Alright, hang on. Right, let me just shut my Steam off a minute because I think it's taking my CPU up a little bit. Logging off a second. Then we've got Mr. Masood trying to find out from his auntie, but basically, and his uncle, trying to pretend to be nice to him and all that. There we go, that's better. Starting to speed up my CPU a little bit. And I got Kim's birthday party at the moment. Not Kim's, oh, I don't know. Oh, Denise, her birthday. And Kim's talking to Cushion behind her back, trying to tell her to get the DNA and all that from her so she can do a birthday present for her. He said just a little swab, just to put in her mouth and all that. And she said, oh, I would do it, she said. Just a quick scrape in the mouth and it's done, she goes. Or she said he could play dentist and patient and all that. Oh, and Denise has turned up now. She thinks there's something going on between them two. Something secretly. Alright. Alright. Let's close that down a minute. Not the thing, but bloody adverts a minute. Alright. Alright. So it's back now. Anyways, back to Mick now. I know Mick wants to know what's going on. And Aidan said, that's the question I was about to ask you, he goes. And he said, how about you tell me, he goes. And he said, Aidan wants to review the evidence. He said, you're about to lose the Vic. Your family are about to be thrown out on the street. And then he said, suddenly in the last minute, he said, you find the cash. He said, courtesy of good old luck. He said, or was it a scratch card? And Mick said, is that it? Yeah, he's the tough guy and all that. To be honest, I like Danny Dyer because he's got that, like, that not scared look and all that. That, like, frightened look. He's like a tough guy. He don't care if they try and do him in or something. He said, all like standing there, all the other people in the room standing there like there's some sort of scenes out of The Godfather or something. Actually, The Godfather, fucking fantastic film, by the way. The trilogy, I want to get that on 4K at some point when they do start releasing. I do hope they release those films on 4K. Absolutely classics. And he's laughing at them now, taking the piss out of them. He goes, oh well, this is all nice, isn't it? He goes. Oh, and Aidan said, oh, we'll see. Oh, he's getting something out of a drawer. Oh, Billy's looking a bit sort of nervous. Wondering what's going to go next. Oh, so apparently Mr. Masood now, he's been fixing the stairgate or something. I think that's for the children they're supposed to be fostering or something. Of his auntie and uncle supposed to be looking after. And now he said he's been fixing other stuff because he's trying to do that so he can actually get his auntie to show him the recipe for the barges and how they're done. And she wants to know what he's up to. And the toy tidy that he's been putting together. And she said, oh, is it going to be like, oh, you help me and I help you? And now he said he's hurt. Deeply hurt. Even though, now she mentions it, Oh, samosas, actually, yeah, the samosas. Yeah, he wants quite a few of them. He wants them for his lady friend. She wants, yeah, she wants him to meet her family. That's what Mr. Masood says to his auntie. And he said this isn't just a simple date. And he said he's promised the whole family and his girlfriend and all that, the whole family with the samosas to bring him down. And she said, "Oh, why didn't you say so before?" She said. She says she's wasted cooking time. And she says she can't wait until he settles down with a lovely lady. Until she finds out it's Robbie. And then he goes, "Yeah, she's lovely." And she wants to know if it's the same religion as him, if she's English, or if she's from his place and all that. I think in Pakistan. I know, she looks so happy as well. And he's thinking, "Oh, thank God," and all that. Oh, it's back to Mick now. And he's in the garage still, tied up. I know Aidan said he's going to rip his teeth out and all that. Or his fingers and all that. And he said he's going to get what he wants. And if he's still shy, and then he said he's going to take care of his kneecaps next. Oh, and now, what's his name? That young kid is there as well. He's trying to tell Phil to stop it. Oh, Keanu trying to get involved and trying to get Phil to stop it. And Aidan says, "Do you want your money?" So basically, if he wants his money or not. And now they're all trying to question him now as well. He said, "All this money just falls from the sky for no reason." And Billy says it as well. And then Mick's saying, "Yep, that's what happened." And he's saying to Phil that he knows him. But he said he may be not too good and all that. He's not clean. But he said neither are they either. And neither is Phil. And he said he ain't no cheat. And he said he wouldn't sell out his own. Right. Adverts again. Oh my god, I hate. To be honest, I watch them on Daily Motion, and because if I have to do it on the BBC Player app and all that, or the BBC iPlayer, you'll have to sign in. So you've got to sign up with an account now on the actual website, which is a shame. If I do it on my TV and I watch it through that way, it could be a bit different. Right, let's have a look. Here we go. It's back to it now. But he said he ain't no cheat now. Definitely wouldn't sell out his own. I know Aidan said, "Oh, you must be very brave," but he's got like this angry face to him while he's pushing him with a spanner of some sort against his neck. Oh, actually a hammer. And he said, "What kind of an idiot would stick around," he said, "after nicking all that money." And he said it's called suicide. So he wants to know how he got his pub back, and he said, "Don't tell me," he said, "you won it on a scratch card." He said, "Oh, well, he might lose his temper." And he said he promised he wouldn't say anything. He said he didn't pay a penny for it. So apparently Wilmot Brown's daughter apparently paid for it. And Aidan's questioning now by saying, oh, and why would she do that? Because she thought it was bought with blood money. Her mum's blood. She didn't want it after knowing what her dad did to Kathy and all that. And now Phil's wondering why he kept stum about it. In case Wilmot Brown actually found out about it. Got his lawyers onto him. Now Aidan thinks it's not convincing enough. But yeah, Mick is basically saying it is the truth. And he says, shall we find out? Shall we? He said, Aidan. And then he slams the hammer on the table. And now Mick's looking a bit relieved now that he's come up with this big fantastic story. Kind of a little twist to it. Just fantastic. Oh, now it's back to Denise. And she's looking at Kim's bag. Or her purse. Oh, she's seen her phone in there. Now she's trying to do something on it. Texting her Kush from Kim's phone to tell him to come over by the looks of it. She's trying to set Kim and Kush up to find out what they are up to and all that, basically. But she ends up finding that she wants to find out if they are really sisters, but she says she should have told her about it from the start instead of keeping it all a secret. And then she said, oh, she asked her what she was doing today, and she said, you said nothing. And then she says she asked Kush, and he exactly said the same thing. Now Kush has turned up. And then he says, oh, I don't know why you keep bothering me. He said, I don't know. And now Denise is saying, oh, don't know what. And then Denise is going, oh, nothing. Like a sarcastic sort of thing. Oh, and now we've got back to Mr. Masood looking at the samosas on the table, and he's actually watching his auntie literally like a hawk at what she's putting in there for the ingredients. And she's wondering what he's doing, and he said nothing. And then she's doing all the cooking in the kitchen. And now it's back to the garage again with Mick and Aidan. And Aidan said, oh, no one's that stupid. Oh, hang on, he's throwing the hammer on the floor. So now that leaves the same old problem, no? If Mr. Carter doesn't have the money, then who does? Now everybody's got their heads down now, like they're hiding something. Vincent's basically had his head down like this, like he's up to something. And then Aidan says, why, do you have it? To Vince. Right, he's telling Mick that he could go. Billy can go. And Keanu as well. Now all who's left in the actual place, in the garage, is Vincent and Phil. He said, looks like we're going to have a chat, us three, he said. Now it's back to Mr. Masood, watching his auntie in the kitchen cooking. And then he said to his auntie, "This is inspiring." He says, "I can cook." But he said, you're like an artist. So he's calling out all the ingredients. Saying about cashew nuts. He says sometimes some use it. She said, "I don't," she said. So he's like all working out all the ingredients for the samosas. And now he wants her to teach him how to cook, to make them and all that. She says she could, but what's the point? All he has to do is ask her and she'll cook them for him. Oh, adverts a minute. There we go, back to this. And she says she'll make them for him. Oh, he's having a taste. And he's like, oh, he feels like he's in heaven. And she said, "Oh, what's the matter?" And he goes, "Oh, it's just so perfect. Just totally perfect." Oh, and then he said, "Oh, he's going to love him. And he's just made a mistake." And she said, "What, he?" She said, "I thought you were making her for your lady friend." Oh, and her father, he goes. And her uncles. Oh, they're partial to samosas. And she said, "Oh, I thought you hadn't met him and stuff." He goes, "Oh, he has." Well, he hasn't, but he's been talking about, his girlfriend's been talking about him or something. Oh, now Linda's turned up and she looks so happy that old Mick's still there. And now he's telling old Billy and the rest of the gang to go off and all that. And old Sharon's calling Billy. And old Mick said, basically, we don't need to worry now to Linda, he said. He said, it's fine. And she said, oh, it's just like that. And he says, it's all over. And she's got, oh, is it really? Now she's kissing him and all that. She's so happy. And she said, oh, Sharon now saying to Billy, where's Phil? Or saying, now Billy's replying saying he's in the Arches and all that with Aidan and Vincent. And she said, is he alright? And he goes, I hope so. Now Vincent says he hasn't got Aidan's money. Oh, and he said, now Vincent, Mick has convinced him, but now it's time for Vince to sit in the chair and convince him. He said, now let's hope you can too. Or he said, maybe we should do you in instead. He said, that'd be one less grass then in the world. But he wants, and he goes, oh, Phil now saying, oh, he hasn't had your money. He said, and Aidan's like, oh, you wasn't sure earlier though, was you? But who has? He goes, who has then? He goes. And he said, it seems like it's a little bit too close to home with the money. And now he's blaming Aidan for the money and stuff, so that's pretty cool. And he goes, oh, is this a smoke screen or something? And he said he thinks, oh, what do you think I'm going to do, run off with the money and stuff? With a bag full of money of my own money, he goes. He said, oh, have you got someone else in mind? He said, oh, something old Mick said, he said. He said if he had done it, he said he wouldn't have stuck around. And he said someone has just left Warford. He said, oh, Ben. And now Phil's saying, "Are you serious?" He said, "Ben." He said, "Actually, half of that actually witnesses me." He said, "Thinking about it, it could have been him." He said, "Then I could at least had some respect for him." He said. He said, "Now Vincent's pointing the finger now." And he said, "Now Aidan said he's right and all that all along." Oh, they're having a fight now. Or struggle. Oh, and now Aidan said to Vincent, "He's a dead man now." But Phil was like saying, "No, you're not going to do it." He said, "And you're going to go to prison," he said, "for doing all this." He said, "For what? For him?" He said, "Oh, Phil said he doesn't want to live like that." And he said, "If there's anyone who's going to get sorted out," he said, "it's the person who's took the money in the first place." But now, Aidan said, "Oh, looks like you may have an idea of who actually took it." Oh, he's telling Vincent now, Phil, to actually, he said, "You better get out of here while it's cooled down." So Vincent's going off. Now we've got Robbie and Mr. Masood. Robbie's having a taste of the samosas. And he goes, "Oh, Mas." He says, "Delicious." And now Mr. Masood said he's actually witnessed the actual recipe of what she was doing in the kitchen. And he said, "Oh, this must have been why it was so good." He said he put some extra stuff in it. Why his auntie put some extra powder or something in it. So apparently when she's been making them for Daisy. Oh, his auntie's come up now and she's just found out. And has said Mr. Masood's secret samosas. And then his auntie's just come up and said, "Who's samosas?" And he's just got caught. So he's got to try and come up with a cover story now. Denise then has come up now, and her sister Kim are having a talk, and she said, "Oh, they're walking behind her back, talking behind her back, like some sort of secret was going on or something." So she's trying to think, basically they were having an affair or something. Oh, she don't think there was something going on. Oh, Denise, with her sister, but she said she thought there was something going on, like plot or something, behind her back. And then she said, "Kush." And Kim says she's got Vincent, so she don't need Kush. And they were laughing and like a sort of small smirk between each other. Saying about Patrick's been talking to Denise and all that. And she said it's not about the money either with Vince. She says wondering how much trouble Vince is in. She said all the work they put in, it's all being taken away. And she wants to know why, what if they are sisters. So basically, at least they've got something going. She wants some certainty at least between them. And she said yes, she will do it and she will have the DNA. But she said they're sisters no matter what. Now it's back to Phil and Aidan, and he said we're missing someone who's missing under our nose. To Aidan, and he said, "Who's that?" "Mel." Oh. And she said if she has been playing them both and going against each other. He reckons that Aidan should lay low a little bit, get away from the square. Maybe that'll be the last thing she suspects. And he goes, while he's gone, he's going to interrogate her and keep watching Mel and stuff. Make sure she doesn't get up to anything. And he said then what he's going to do is do the cover story that he's actually run off into the sunset with the bag of cash and all that. And then they've got half a chance to find out then if Mel is what she's up to and all that. But apparently they've been beating each other up at the moment on it. Now Aidan wants to teach her a lesson. And Phil said, yeah, we know. And he said it's not to go easy on her either, Aidan says. Just like the old days. And Phil said there wasn't too many of them. Oh, and Aunt Sharon's turned up. And she wanted to look for Phil. And then Aidan said she looks a bit agitated. And apparently she says she knows, and she says she's been trying to get his dinner or something, Phil's dinner. Must have been very hungry after that heist. Saying about Mick's found that they found out that Mick didn't have the money after all. He's saying to Sharon, and he said he's still walking. And then they said, let's hope we don't find out, Aidan. Apparently Aidan got the wrong end of the stick. But he doesn't think that now. I bet he thinks Mel's got the money or something. And then once Aidan finds out, he said, hopefully he doesn't find out, otherwise it's going to be a bloodbath. And Mel's listening as well. She's just overheard him saying about it. So this finishes this episode off for 27 minutes and 21 seconds. This is for the 1st of February 2018. So I've made this one a little bit longer, I think, because we are 48 minutes nearly an hour into it. So I've put as much detail into this episode as possible. So this picture here, we've got them talking to each other, and he was trying to say about Denise, talking to Denise and all that. Well, actually Kim about it. So that's for that episode. This picture here is from a couple of previous episodes, but that intertwines into the other episodes. It continues and all that. And then we've got the continuation of this one. I've been trying to find some pictures to put through here. So I've got these off the internet and then just looked them and then just put them in there. But it's putting them all into these coordinations and just to make sure they all actually entwine into the episode. Some are not entwined into this episode. But this one here with Robbie and Mr. Masood, that's in the episode, and this one's in the episode, this one here. And then we've got this one, and where is it? Oh, this one here, where she was looking at the window, outside the window there, at her husband, Mick, as he was getting dragged off into the back of the van, and then he ended up finding himself into the arches and all that. Basically Mitchell's Autos area, where he's doing all the plot to find out who's had the money. But yeah, it's been a pretty good episode for this episode here. Anyway, guys and girls, if you enjoyed the episode, do like, favourite, share, comment, subscribe. It's more like, I wouldn't say episode, but more like the review of the episode review. So this has been for the 2nd February 2018. I'm going to be doing another 2 episodes. I think I've got 2 more episodes, and then I'm up together, or 3 episodes, because I've got tonight's episode tonight as well, so technically 3 episodes. But if you enjoyed the episode review, do like, favourite, share, comment, subscribe. Cheers all for watching. Stay safe all. Catch you all later, and see you soon on the next episode.